The anti-ICE protest in California enters its 5th day. The president plans to send in thousands more troops despite the governor's wishes. And new video in from the Varner Supermax prison as captured inmate Grant Hardin is back behind bars.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News at noon.
And happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on your 5 News at noon. I'm Jacob Luthi with meteorologist Stephen Elmore. Stephen, he's here to tell us how much longer we get to enjoy this sunny weather. I know Monday was a great day. Today is nice out there. Doesn't look like it's going to last too long, which I'm getting a little bit sad about.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, that's when those rain chances coming back. That's when that forecast doesn't look too great for us, right? But today, tomorrow, going to be absolutely fantastic outside. Today is my pick of the two, though. You take a look outside right now, beautiful sunshine across the area. As we get into the afternoon, we're already into those mid to upper 80s. Fort Smith right now at 87 degrees already, so it's going to be warm this afternoon, but lots of sunshine, little cloud coverage. By the time we get to this evening, though, a little bit more of that cloud coverage starts to build in. We'll talk about why coming up here in just a little bit. Current temperatures out there right now across the board, already into those 80s across northwest Arkansas, 84 there in Bentonville, 85 in Fayetteville, our warm spot. Again, Fort Smith at 87 degrees, 83 there in Ozark, 80 there in Van Buren. Again, warm already this afternoon, plenty of sunshine breaking out. But by the time we get to this evening, maybe a little bit extra cloud coverage starting to build in because that low pressure system is getting just a little bit closer. Now, when it comes to rain chances, very, very low chance for today and tomorrow. Really, the real rain chances picking up by the time we get to our Thursday. So northwest Arkansas, the rest of the day today, we're already getting close to those afternoon daytime highs for us already. Plenty of sunshine sticks around, but here's a look at this afternoon to the evening. That's when some of that cloud coverage starts to build in. Just due to the nature of that extra cloud coverage, we could see a very spotty shower. I tell you what, almost all of us today are going to stay dry, but somebody out there is going to catch a stray shower. Here's a look across the river valley throughout the rest of the day today. Daytime highs climbing up into those low 90s. Again, it's going to be hot this afternoon, but that cloud coverage starts to build in by the time we get to the evening hours overnight into tomorrow. That's when we could see a little bit extra of that cloud coverage, but also those rain chances starting to pick up as well by the time we get to our Thursday, Friday into this upcoming weekend. We'll talk about those rain chances and thunderstorm chances coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Stephen. Authorities say a gunman opened fire at a high school in Austria, killing 9 people before taking his own life. It's the worst school shooting in the country's modern history. CBS's Tina Kraus reports.
The shooting began just a couple hours into the school day in the Austrian city of Graz. The mayor called the killings a terrible tragedy and said special forces were among the police deployed to the high school after a call saying shots were fired. Austrian news agency APA says the gunman, who was reportedly a student, killed himself after taking the lives of 8 students and a teacher. A disaster alert was issued for a local hospital where the injured are now being treated. Police say they have the scene under control and all students were evacuated. They're now being reunited with their parents. This all unfolded in Austria's second largest city, just over 100 miles from the capital of Vienna. It's a community that was hit by another shooting 10 years ago this month that killed several people and scarred the city for years. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Well, happening today, the Arkansas Board of Corrections will meet to vote on a final contract with the design team hired for the Franklin County Prison. $75 million has been allocated for the project so far, which has been met with a lot of pushback from residents who live in that area. The Department of Corrections says pending funding, partial operations are set to start next year, and they expect the project to be finished by 2028. And there's new video of captured inmate Grant Hardin being transferred to one of Arkansas's Supermax prisons. He had been on the run for nearly 2 weeks after escaping the Calico Rock prison. He was captured on Friday. The Arkansas Department of Corrections says Hardin will serve out his sentence for rape and murder at Varner. Both crimes happened in Benton County. He's also facing new charges for the escape in Izard County, Arkansas. And Arkansas State Police have ruled Alma officers are justified in the shooting death of Austin Byrd. Prosecutors say the 27-year-old was armed and refused to drop his weapon during a confrontation with officers. This happened at a travel center on May 16th. Troopers had been tracking Byrd in connection to a domestic violence report and aggravated robbery. Read the full story on 5newsonline.com. And the National Weather Service is confirming more tornado damage from Friday's storms. They confirm multiple areas of EF1 damage in Sequoia County, hitting areas near Vian, Salisaw, and Liberty. On Saturday, the damage was centered in Cherokee County, south of Tahlequah to Lake Tenkiller. Damage surveys are still underway, with crews working to finalize data from McAllister, Van Buren, and parts of northwest Arkansas. And the city of Van Buren is cleaning up and assessing damage left by Friday morning's tornado. With more than 24 apartments left unlivable, families are still displaced. We are told they are relying on community support and shelter for the time being. We talked with the Deputy Director for Crawford County Emergency Management and asked what the community still needs.
The biggest needs right now is cleanup supplies, trash bags, gloves, even goggles, items to keep people safe as they go through their homes and pick up the damage.
Well, those who are looking to donate are urged to contact the Van Buren Housing Authority. A fifth straight day of protests across California, with tensions rising in major cities. The Pentagon is sending 700 Marines and 2,000 troops to Los Angeles, a move that sparked new demonstrations nationwide. Naomi Ruckham has the latest.
The Pentagon is mobilizing 700 Marines and 2,000 additional National Guard troops to Los Angeles as anti-ICE protests stretch into a fifth day. This as the Los Angeles police chief says he's confident his department and partners can handle the growing demonstrations, with dozens of arrests made so far.
The introduction of federal military personnel without direct coordination creates logistical challenges and risks confusion during critical incidents.
Protests have also spread to other parts of California.
The people in our federal government who are making decisions to put troops on the streets and to round up members of our community need to see that we're not with them.
As well as states around the country like Florida and Texas. In Austin, tear gas was used to disperse crowds. Meanwhile, escalating tensions in LA have stoked a political clash between California Governor Gavin Newsom and the Trump administration. President Donald Trump's border czar Tom Homan has threatened the arrest of anyone who obstructs federal authorities, including Newsom, prompting this reaction from the president.
Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing.
Newsom, in an interview, called on the White House to arrest him and, quote, just get it over with. The state has sued over the deployment of federal troops, calling it an unprecedented power grab. The White House says it's necessary to protect federal property. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has fired every member of the government's vaccine advisory panel. The move is shaking up the medical community and raising questions about the future of vaccine recommendations. Kennedy is calling it a rubber stamp. Experts warn this risks harming public trust. The American Medical Association and pediatricians condemned the move, citing ongoing measles outbreaks and falling vaccination rates. This follows the CDC's recent decision to end COVID-19 vaccine recommendations for healthy kids and pregnant women. A new committee will meet June 25th. And in continuing coverage, concerns are growing over a homeless encampment near the University of Arkansas, where around 20 people are still staying. Despite orders to leave, local groups say the issue isn't just about clearing one site. It's about a growing crisis in Fayetteville. The university owns the land where the 19th Street encampment sits, and earlier this week, officials gave residents until Monday to clear out. UAPD and Fayetteville PD were on site handing out warnings, but advocates and some residents say finding a place to go isn't that simple, with many being turned away from low-income housing because of past records or disability status.
We're all from here, and we're all on disability, and we're all being denied housing or low-income housing. They're supposed to be low income, but when they're running our backgrounds, they're turning us away.
A University of Arkansas spokesperson says the site has become a public safety concern.
For the last few months, there have been frequent reports of criminal activity in that area, specifically that our UAPD officers have had to respond to. We're kind of at the tipping point now where it's become a problem just because it is so close to those trails that are right there next to the 19th Street property, as well as some residential areas as well.
Right now, organizations like Seven Hills Homeless Center are working to support those still at the encampment. The university says officers will continue patrolling to make sure everyone follows the closure order. And Arkansans are being warned about a new text scam flooding the state. These messages claim you owe money to a fake agency and threaten to take away your driving privileges. Hundreds of thousands have received these scam texts in recent days. The messages claim to be from the Arkansas Vehicle Administration DMV, which doesn't exist, and even mention toll roads Arkansas doesn't have. They try to scare recipients into clicking a link to pay fines or fees, but it's all designed to steal sensitive information.
If they get a hold of that, they can, and especially if you provide any of that sensitive bank account information, they are going to clean you out.
Police say scammers are getting more convincing, but watching for red flags like strange numbers or urgent messages can help you avoid getting tricked and protect your money. A local